Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Polish tech tree tank destroyer, the NC-70 Błyskawica. This is a vehicle that I think is incredibly underrated. I've already made a bunch of videos on this tank, and I will continue to make videos on this tank because I think people really don't understand its playstyle. For example, Peter KW made a video on this tank yesterday. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's one of the top players on the EU server. And in his video, he said this is the worst tier 10 in the game. But he's also going 80% in it. And, like, don't get me wrong. The average damage is lower than his average tier 10 damage. But at the same time, not everything is based off of average damage. And at least in my eyes, I think when you're going 80% in a tank destroyer solo, it shows that the tank's doing pretty good, right? I mean, you can't base everything off of damage. That's just not how the game's designed. And if you're winning that many games, clearly this tank has some sort of potential. So in today's video, we're going to see just how much potential this tank does have. We get a nice shell once into the Type 71. The enemy Conqueror, which I'm not going to shoot. We're going to shoot the Type again. I'm hoping that my armor is good enough that I can get a bounce here, but I'm also trying to hide my lower plate, and there you go. Perfect. The enemy Type misses me. And we're just going to load a high explosive, take 200 health off this guy. It's literally free damage, right? And we're just going to angle it like this. So that way, the Type has a hard time cutting through me. Type is going to aim it on my teammate. And there you go, 490 right into the hatch. I think the biggest part that players make mistakes on with this tank is the way that they drive it. A lot of players drive this tank way too aggressive early game. Also, really? I hit that bar. That little red bar. That's what I hit. But as I said, a lot of players drive this tank too aggressive early game, and because of that, it causes them to be in a position where they don't have the ability to push late game. But if you play this tank more passive, you will do a lot better late game because you've conserved that health and you're able to make a play. And that's what I've been doing in this battle here, right? I've been playing passive, and now that the enemy team is, you know, a bit bled, I can move up, get the clear into the enemy Type, and now we can reverse. I'm going to chill right here, and I would love to get high explosive shells into that enemy Conqueror. And that's what I'm going to try and do right now. Aiming on the rear, and boom, 771 damage. We are already up to 3,300 at this point, which is pretty dang good. Question is, where's the 183? And we can actually see the 183 right in front of me. So we're going to put on my adrenaline now, and we're going to roll around the corner. We're going to aim it on the 183. We're going to get a pen for 875 damage. And I'm actually just going to push this guy. Hope that the ram lowers him enough that the second shell will kill him, but we'll see. And nope, the second shell does not kill the 183. However, the good news is that he insta-nukes me right through the turret. Or not the turret, but you guys know what I mean. The 183 is still the gayest tank in tier 10, and nobody will change my opinion on that. That will always be a forever opinion. But, doesn't matter. We're going to aim it on this side of the Conqueror. We get a clear, and now we're going to turn around and see if I can help out with the Tortoise, potentially. I don't know. Our concept 1B, being too scared to make a play, is actually tragic because it's putting me in a really bad spot with that Tortoise potentially just rolling around the corner and killing me. Come on, concept. Do something, dude. There you go. Was that so hard? Alright, let's see. We got the BZ-75. I'm not seeing anything in terms of the Błyskawica. So I'm going to roll around the rear of this guy, just like this, and keep on going, keep on going. Let's aim in. Let's get less than 50 meters. Boom. 875 max roll into the Tortoise. We are up to 6,000 damage now in this game, which is absolutely crazy. And looks like the Tortoise is not turning to look at me, so we can get the clear. There you go. Pretty good stuff. The Błyskawica spotted, and that was the tank I was most worried about. So now we're going to reload, and we're going to figure this out. I'm going to go fully wide. I just really wish that 183 didn't pen me. If that 183 had messed up the shot, or my shell had slightly high rolled, we would have been in such a good position right now. But because I don't have that health, I don't really have the ability to play aggressive. So we're just going to wait here. We still have a fairly healthy concept, and patience is key, right? Take a blind shot at the bush. Doesn't hurt. Am I spotted? No. Okay. Let's reload again. And, alright, we got our shell back. I'm going to take one more blind shot. No, they're definitely not there. Oh, the BZ-75's all the way in the spawn. Okay. That Błyskawica is definitely the big threat. And I don't know where they are, right? I'm a one-shot. I mean, both are a one-shot for me, but Just really, really nervous. Let's see, I'm going to move this way. There you go. Actually, I wasn't that far off on guessing where that player was. Alright, I'm going to move all the way to the rear of this guy. I think that's the best play to make. Keep on going, come on. Alright, put on my speed boost. And keep going, keep going, keep going. Alright, there you go. They just shot, which means... Oh, okay, well that works too, I guess. I'm going to put on my reload. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not able to get the shell out, but that's fine. I'm going to keep moving up and aiming on the rear. There you go. 740 damage. Just like that, the concept got the clear. So it was still a pretty good game. And if that concept didn't shoot the Błyskawica, I would have cleared him. I would have done over 7,000 damage in this battle. Now you tell me if you guys think this tank is bad. This is a live game that I just played. And we did 6,875 damage, killed 4 tanks, and absolutely dominated. This is what the Błyskawica is good at. It's good at just punishing players that make mistakes, right? I mean, you saw it. The Type 71 poked us multiple times and got nuked. And then after the Type 71, we had the Conqueror. That guy was a free chunk of damage. The only reason that game was even slightly challenging was because a 183 existed. And it doesn't matter what tank you're in, the 183 ruins your game. That's really as simple as it is. And unfortunately, you go up against 183s every single battle you play. But the fact that this tank has so much capabilities when you're able to just get that DPM out, it's really nice. I think a big mistake that players make is, first of all, they run Rammer on this tank. It has 8 PCR standard and premium, which might make you think, oh, well, wouldn't you run Rammer because it gives you more DPM and the pen's already bad? But no. I would highly recommend run Kali on this thing because it gives you way more effective DPM not having to load gold constantly. And not only that, but it just makes your pen value so much more reliable because of how goofy and troll this gun can be. Now in this game, we are going to stay really passive in the beginning. Actually, you know what? I've got teammates. I didn't realize I had the K91 coming over here as well. So even though the enemy team does have players on the other side, we should be totally fine. And while I did get spotted, it's not something I have to necessarily worry about. So let's see, we got the Błyskawica, who misses me, and we're just going to drive up and load a gold shell right into that player's roof. This is why I run calibrated shells on this tank, because, for example, this enemy Błyskawica just doesn't stand a chance in terms of armor, right? Oh, okay, well, doesn't matter when the gun does that, but in general, that player doesn't really stand a chance in terms of armor. I'm actually going to ignore them and shoot the 183 for 679 damage and back up. Reload again. I'm honestly just going to drive over. I don't even care if they shoot me in the lower plate. I don't even think they can see me in the lower plate. There you go. 779 damage. We're already over 2k at this point. And yes, I do agree with that Błyskawica. The C100 is a bot. But you know what? You played pretty poor too, my dude. Should not have driven over the ridgeline in your tier 10 Polish TD and expected to get away with it. And you didn't get away with it. You got absolutely butchered and nuked right in the beginning of the game. We have the T92E1, who I'm not able to get a shell into just yet, but I'm going to push that player, and I can bet you that they're not going to enjoy my company if we do actually manage to close the distance. Let's see, there's the 92, and they are running away. Oh, we have the AMX right here, though, and that looks like a free chunk of damage to me. Let's aim it on the AMX. Whew, this gun is really bad sometimes, guys. Like, really, really bad. The gun is nice, right? I mean, the DPM, when you get into a close-range situation, is crazy good. That's a 604, we get a little RAM. At 787, we reload again, and we'll already be over 3,700 damage. But man, when this RNG is a little troll, it can be really cringe. But there you go, another 643, and reloading 5, 4. Nah, we're not going to get any more, I don't think. But we still did 3,667 damage, so not bad at all. There you go, the Błyskawica being a homophobe. You gotta love the Blitz player base, you really do. Can't win one game without somebody saying a slur. But there you go, top of the team, another really good battle for this tank. Let's keep going. But yeah, I don't really see where the hate towards this vehicle comes from. I can see where it runs into problems, right? If you over-aggress, you don't have reverse speed. And if you're in a situation where something gets to your side or something with a clip manages to catch you out, it's terrible. But at the same time, when you're able to use this tank's gun and the DPM, it's great. And for example, you noticed in one situation alone where calibrated shells was super nice. Okay, I just realized that my recording software was not working. You can see the first game that I played in the Błyskawica on Yamato Harbor. And then I played 2 more because I try to do 4 battles a video now. And you can see that I did 3,200 on the Normandy game. And then the battle that we're going to take a look at that I just played, which I thought I was recording, I'm going to show this one, and then we'll do one more after. This game was crazy, and it showcases, again, where the Błyskawica is insane. Up against us, we have an M6 Show, IS-7, we got a grill, we got a bunch of dangerous tanks. I shoot at the grill on the move, and I get a decent shot in the beginning. By the way, this is why I run Speed Boost on the Błyskawica. It's one of the few tanks that I actually run double consumable on, and the reason why is because running double consumable on this vehicle gives me the ability to get into position quickly. This spot I'm in currently is the most important spot on Middelburg, and if you are able to get here, it honestly makes this tank overpowered. This IS-7 has no actual possibility of penning me. And because I'm running Cali, as you can see, I just go right through the upper plate of that tank every single time with gold. Sure, I'm losing a bit of DPM, but as I always say, DPM is not the most important thing in the game. It is simply shot placement. So IS-7 tries to gun block me, but I don't care. We get another pen into the VK. We're already over 3,000 damage now. It's only been a minute and 10 seconds, dude, and we're over 3k. Think about that. Another easy pen into the IS-7 with a gold shell, 3,600 damage now. And we just continue here trying to make it hard for this IS-7 to pen me. Dude literally just gave up. He really did. I load a high explosive shell. Unfortunately, it low rolls just a little bit. That's fine. Let's see what I can do now. I'm going to ignore both the IS-7 and the grill because I see a yo. I was going to kill the IS-7, but it's smarter for me to let my teammates deal with that player so I can farm out this full health yo. So we're going to drive towards him. We wiggle, we wiggle, we wiggle, and boom, we get 2 bounces by hiding my lower plate just by wiggling there. So we're up to 4,600 damage, and we're going to aim it on the yo again. We get another pen for 685, and just like that, in 2 shots, I've dealt over 1,500 damage to this player. Now I push him over here so that I can get a little bit more damage, and we reload. Boom. 5,698 damage at this point. Now I know the 1-2-1 is in our rear because I had seen the player earlier, so I'm going to be heading over towards our spawn to see if I can catch this 1-2-1 off guard. Gonna get a little bit squished by my 183, and there we go. Spotted the 1-2-1. Okay. Let me head wide and bonk. 722 damage into that player. Unfortunately, the convoy gets spotted all the way at the other side of the map, and as you can see, I do not get the ability to damage that convoy. But what I did do is 6,400 damage in one of the easiest victories ever. Yes, the enemy team was bad. No doubt. Also, my game crashed. We love Blitz. But yeah, no doubt was the enemy team bad. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But the thing is, when you get a bad enemy team, which happens more often than not, this tank is able to take advantage of it like no other vehicle. I cannot name another tier 10 that would have been able to take advantage of that situation I was in there and done as well as the Błyskawica did, right? I mean, for example, in Peter's video, he says that this tank is a flat worse Hori. But I challenge any Hori driver to do what I just did in that last game and get away with it. Yeah, sure, maybe you would have lived and maybe you would have been able to deal a decent amount of damage, but there's no way the Hori would have been fast enough to get to that position, let alone get bounces the way that my tank did. Sure, the Hori armor's troll, but any premium shell from an IS-7, from a VK-45, would cut right through my tank. Realistically, I would have bled at least half of my health trying to deal with the IS-7 and that VK. I would have had to play a lot smarter to not try and get bled, where in this tank, I just get hauled down, they can't pen me, and I farm them out. This is a tank that is specifically designed to play haul down. And if you can get it into one of those positions to hide the lower plate, that's where it becomes just incredibly overpowered. I mean, this here is the armor of the Błyskawica on flat ground, right? Let's get an IS-7. That's what was shooting at me last game. So we go to tier 10, we go to heavy, and we go to Russia, okay? So we pull out the IS-7. This is what the IS-7 saw loading gold, right? And I was, kind of wedging it up. So this is what the IS-7 sees. The entire upper plate of this tank is over 370 thick. The corner cutouts are 380. This is how you want to drive the tank. You just stay dead center. Don't get me wrong, the Hori is an incredibly dangerous tank destroyer, but what it isn't is a frontline tank. the armor on this vehicle, just against standard alone, is already like a 50-50 chance of being penned. And that's without even mentioning gold, right? Even if you're running enhanced armor, the Hori's armor just is not good enough to reliably get bounces. It doesn't matter how you angle it, it's not going to get bounces. Yes, it gets troll bounces, right? Sometimes your shells hit the gun, or they hit these stupid little corners and ricochet off. But in general, the Hori's armor is not going to be reliable. This tank's armor, as long as you know how to use it correctly, will get bounces. The biggest misplay that people make with this tank is they drive it on flat ground and they don't hide that lower plate. If your lower plate is exposed, this tank is going to fall apart. That is as simple as it is. So you have to be careful and focus on hiding that lower plate at all times. Even if you see a big juicy chunk of damage, don't expose your lower plate, because the moment you do, you're exposing yourself for every enemy to try and bleed you out. Now this game, I will possibly bleed a lot of health to the enemy there. It's fine. I still won the trade. I was just not thinking the enemy was going to be here, to be real. But in this honest situation, I don't really see how the Atlas can really counter me. Although I can see how my own gun's going to troll me. But I can just kind of chill here, and there's really no counter to my tank already. And it's such a good example of how, you know, strong this thing is. Okay, the Atlas gets a little bit of damage to my teammate. Those players are going to start running, and I'm going to move over here. See if we can get... Oh, come on, gun. Alright, I need the backup. I don't want to be in a spot where these enemy tanks drive around the corner and obliterate me. So we're just going to chill all the way back here. And we're going to wait for the Kron to poke. I think that's the best play to make. Actually, the Kron is giving me a free chunk of damage, so we're going to aim it on their lower plate. And boom! 520. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on speed. I'm going to roll around the corner. We're going to get the clear into the Atlas, and then we're going to push the Kron, because while there is the T-22 on my flank, this Kron doesn't really pose a threat. So let's reload. Let's get a pen into this guy. Terrible roll at 597, but we have the Atlas, and I would assume that the Atlas is going to get the clear. Indeed he does. I don't actually know how that Kron penned me, to be honest, but doing okay. We're already over 2,000 damage. Boom, 830 into the bat chat. That's gotta hurt you, dude. It's gotta hurt quite a bit. See, while this tank does lose a lot of damage when over distance, it's only the standard that loses a lot over distance. When loading high explosive, you actually have the same amount, so there's really no downside to loading HE in this vehicle. Now we have the Leopard, who I definitely want to try and get, so that's who we're going to go for right now. I'm going to stick with standard shells, and there you go. Nice shot into the Leopard. We get a ram, and now I have to hope that they're not fast enough to out-reverse my tank. There you go. Beautiful, and we get the clear. I was a little worried that that Leopard was going to be able to reverse faster, but they didn't. We're up to 3,900 damage. This was a great game again. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal any more, but just the fact I already did this much. Loaded an HE, dang. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the Błyskawica. I really do. I do see where it can fall apart really quickly. But I can also see where this tank is able to dominate games placed in front of it. And that's kind of what I've been experiencing for a lot of the games I've played. 4,000 damage there, top in the team. And look at my battle logs for today. Just victory, 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 victory. Listen, you can dislike the playstyle of this vehicle. You might not do crazy in it in terms of one or the other, but personally, I'm averaging 3,947 damage for over 200 games on my press account in this tank. So clearly it has capabilities. My win rate is totally fine at around 72%. So I'm doing fine in it. I think it's down to the playstyle. I think that people are playing this thing too aggressive, and they think that they're going to get rewarded when they make those aggressive plays. And you seriously just can't. You can't make those aggressive plays early game. You have to wait. You have to wait until the late game, you conserve your health, and then you bleed them out. The thing that a lot of people forget is that even at distance, this thing has crazy good DPM, right? This year's the Hori. The Hori with Kali, which is what I normally run on it, has 3,226 DPM. Even running Rammer, it's still 3,400, right? If you make your way back over to Tankopedia, and you go to the Błyskawica, and then we take a look at this tank, right? You have 4,200 DPM at 50 meters of distance. But even if you get to 120 meters of distance, you still have 3,600 DPM. So even within 120 meters of distance, you still have more DPM than a Hori. It's only once you get to around 200 meters of distance that your DPM is less than a Hori. And even then, you still have flat, better armor. You have really, really good penetration when loading gold, especially because I run Cali. This thing has really good pen at 390. I really find this tank to be fun. I think it's super capable. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And if you want to see more, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.